Sringadev saved him.
Mhm. I'm just going to. Okay, so today's
Mm.
verse is Shrimad Bhagavatam, second canto, ninth chapter, and the verse number 41 and 42. The name of the chapter is Answers by Citing the Lord's Vision. I'm just going to.
Version. What's this word?
Version. I,
What country are you from?
I'm yet to find out. Oh, sorry, my Kirtan. Let me just close the YouTube, otherwise, it will take up the internet bandwidth. Oops.
Thank you
So,
for hosting today.
Maharaj, it's so nice to serve you. It's honor actually. This is the material life. This is
That's an honor for you. It's an austerity for me, but anyway.
over to you, Maharaj.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tam Narada Priyatamo Riktadanam Manuvrataham Sususamana Silena Prasarena Dabena Cha. Translation. Narada, the most dear of the inheritor sons of Brahma, always ready to serve his father, strictly follows the instructions of his father by his mannerly behavior, meekness, and sense control. Verse 43, 42. Maya vididisam vishnur maya sasya mahamunihi mahabhagavato rajan pitaram paryato sayat. Translation. Narada very much pleased his father and desired to know all about the energies of Vishnu, the master of all energies. For Narada was the greatest of all sages and the greatest of all devotees, O king. So here Sukdev Goswami speaking to Maharaj Pariksit, glorifying Narada Muni. Lord Brahma, being the creator of all living beings in the universe, is originally the father of several well-known sons like Daksha, the Chatussanas, and Narada. In three departments of human knowledge disseminated by the Vedas, namely fruit of work, that's called Karma Kanda, transcendental knowledge, Jnana Kanda, and devotional service, Upasana Kanda, Devarshi Narada inherited from his father Brahma devotional service, where Daksha inherited from his father fruit of work, and Sanaka, Sanatan, etc., inherited from their father information about Jnanakanda or transcendental knowledge. But out of all of them, Narada is described here as the most beloved son of Brahma because of his good behavior, obedience, and meekness, and readiness to render service unto the Father. And Narada is famous as the greatest of all sages because of his being the greatest of all devotees. Narada is the spiritual master of many famous devotees of the Lord. He is the spiritual master of Prahlad, Dhruva, and Vyas, down to the forest animal hunter Kirata. His only business is to turn everyone to the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Therefore, all these features of Narada make him the dearmost son of his father, and all of this is due to Narada's being a first-class devotee of the Lord. The devotees are always anxious to know more and more about the Supreme Lord, the Master of all energies, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 10:9. Machchitam makata pranam bodhiyantas parasparam Katayantascha mam nityam tusyanti cha ramanti cha. The Lord is unlimited, and his energies are also unlimited. No one can know them completely. Brahmaji, being the greatest living entity within the universe and being directly instructed by the Lord, must know more than anyone within the universe, although such knowledge may not be complete. Thus is the duty of everyone to ask about the unlimited Lord from the spiritual master in disciplic succession from Brahma, which descends from Narada to Vyas, from Vyas to Sukadev, Goswami, and so on. Om Gyan Timidandasya Gina Jana Salakaya Chaksu Unnalitanena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimakde Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavari Pastyatya De Sutarine Mancha Kalpa Tarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Ve'evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Despite being the great devotee of the Lord, Narada Muni exhibits really, what we say, outstanding qualities, such as good behavior. That means Vaishnava etiquette, obedience to superiors, especially to his father, Narada, Brahman, and meekness. That means meekness is quality that allows you to assimilate knowledge coming from higher authorities and also to carry it out. And then, of course, the last one we just mentioned, readiness to serve. So these qualities are very much glorified in such a way that they help bring about success in
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. It looks like there is some internet issues in Ujjain. Maharaj. Okay.
the internet dropped, so
Yeah,
we can continue again. And so to cultivate devotional service means to cultivate these qualities that support the success of our devotional service. Without good qualities, even qualities in the mode of goodness are considered to be good qualities, but unless they are engaged in devotional service, they also will not stand the test of time, because it's explained in the early part of the Bhagavad Gita, in the second chapter, that the modes are always vying for supremacy. As the mode of goodness may be there, but then it'll be challenged by the lower modes. And so there is always a struggle for supremacy among the modes. So one has to transcend by devotional service and by using the qualities of the mode of goodness as a stepping stone towards the higher principles of Sudasattva, or transcendental devotional service, or that devotional service that's above the three modes of material energy. Here, Narada he's successful both in executing of devotional service. He's a spiritual master himself. His his shikshas are great souls like Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, and the author of the Vedas, Vyasadeva himself. But although he's so powerful and has such powerful and pure followers, still he's meek, humble, um, devoted, follows, he has good behavior, and he's obedient to superiors. So, which brings out the quality of bhakti to a higher level of understanding. So it's mentioned in the Shastras, many verses, that a devotee has 26 qualities. And some people argue that these qualities will manifest automatically by the execution of devotional service, which means by sadhana and service. But others say, yes, that is true, but there is there's a necessary cultivation of these qualities simultaneously as one is doing one's devotional service. And I would, of course, suggest both ideas have foundations in truth, but those who are on the higher platform, they automatically develop these qualities through devotional service. Those who are on a lower platform need to cultivate these qualities as they execute their service to the spiritual master, to Krishna. So Narada is an example for both. It says here he was a first-class devotee. What is a first-class devotee? He knows the nature of the Supreme Lord, and he knows how the energies of the Lord's work. Here it says, this is confirmed. How do they know it? Because they follow this mood of activity. They discuss the glories of the Lord and go deeper into this understanding, which gives them knowledge and transcendental happiness at the same time. But Prabhupada says the Lord is so great that no one can know the Lord in full. It's not possible. When Prabhupada was here, he spoke about knowing Krishna, and he spoke about knowing Krishna in degrees. At one time he said that one has to know Krishna cent percent, which means 100%. But then he realized by the reactions of the devotees listening that that was not possible. Therefore, he said you should know 90%. And then the devotees still became a little fidgety and didn't really expect. So then he said 80%. And then the devotees still didn't really accept that. So he said 70% and no less. So to know Krishna in full is not possible. It says that even Krishna, who has the greatest knowledgeable living entity in existence, can't not even know his own qualities in full. It says that the Supreme Lord is he has a certain quality about him, that everything about him expands continuously. So he is unlimited, but then he is unlimited within the category of unlimited. So as his qualities develop and become more and more powerful and expansive, more qualities manifest, or each of those qualities that are already there, they expand into higher qualities themselves, or higher principles of the same qualities. So that's why it's mentioned that Krishna becomes Lord Chaitanya so he can know more about himself. From the position of one who knows.
Apologies, devotees. We'll just wait for a few minutes for Guru Maharaj to join.
And last again, you can. Let's keep trying.
Maharaj, maybe I would suggest to switch off your camera. I think that will give you a little bit bandwidth.
All right, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Okay, good. All right, so these qualities about, or these characteristics about the Lord are part of a devotee's understanding of the nature of the Lord, which attracts them to the Lord more and more, because everything about the Lord is transcendently attractive. So sometimes devotees don't take time to hear about Krishna, to learn about Krishna, to try to understand deeper how Krishna is doing what he's doing, why he does what he does. All of this knowledge can be found in the Shastras, especially in Srimad Bhagavatam, and also from the words of the Acharyas, who speak about why Krishna performs such activities. But the most essential of all of this, how Krishna relates to his devotees, because that is directly involving our own spiritual advancement. All of this knowledge is not something that is optional. It is what we say required for our spiritual advancement. When you want to develop love for someone, part of that development, or a big part of the development, is to know about them. In fact, love manifests from knowledge and not the other way around. So as we develop that knowledge of Krishna in relationship to his forms, his qualities, his names, his pastimes, his interactions with others, his paraphernalia, all of these categories of Krishna's existence are transcendently inspiring, and they attract the devotee to Krishna more and more. So knowledge leads to love, and love is ultimately the goal. And as love becomes concentrated, it turns into supreme happiness, or the ultimate goal of life is to serve Krishna in the mood of pleasing Krishna with a desire to advance towards Krishna in devotional service. The Narada Muni is a good example. His life can be studied also. And just like there's one chapter in the Bhagavatam, I believe it's chapter 6. You can go to that chapter. Go to the chapter 6 in the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto.
Sorry, Maharaj, looks like my internet is also not so good. It's taking a lot. No, okay. First canto, sixth chapter. Yep.
Yeah, what's the title of the chapter?
Conversation between Narada and Vyasdev.
What's the chapter before that?
Okay.
Get a chapter listing.
Narada's instructions on Srimad Bhagavatam for Vyasdev.
All right, chapter 4.
The appearance of Sri Narada, yeah.
Yeah, so that's whole chapter, the appearance of Sri Narada, was all about Narada. How he was a son of a maidservant who did service for the sages especially during the time of the Chaturmasya when they were no longer traveling anymore. They would come to various places and stay there and do their, what we say, bhajan. His mother took up the service at one particular hotel to serve these persons, and Narada was just a young boy. He assisted his mother. It says that at one point he received the remnants of the sages' prashadam, and by doing that, he understood everything about himself in devotional service. After some time, his mother was bitten by a snake, and she died, and he was left as an orphan. She had no husband, so he was all alone. But he had been blessed by the sages, and so he started to wander through the different areas. And actually, in his wandering, he experienced many things. You can go down the page. Keep going. You go too fast. Why do you go like fast? How can anybody see anything? Don't go so fast. Okay. Okay, keep going. Okay, go back up now. We missed some of the essential verses. Okay.
I think, Maharaj, I was just looking at the chapter
Okay,
6
let's
was the
see.
chapter which you mentioned earlier that covered the pastime of Srila Narada. I was just looking at those verses.
Don't, okay. Don't go so fast.
Sorry.
Okay, now go to the next chapter.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Okay. So we're trying to get to that point where Narada is describing his own life.
Oh, that is in chapter, I think the chapter 6 is the one, Maharaj, because I've looked at some of the verses.
Go for it then. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was the
so
only
here.
son of my mother. Yeah.
Once a time, my poor mother, when going out to milk a cow, was bitten on the leg by a snake, influenced by the supreme time. Keep going. I took this as a special mercy of the Lord. And I started for the north. He was walking by himself, all alone. He was only a young boy. He goes through dark places. He goes through light places. And he's been blessed by the great sages, he kept the personality of Godhead within his heart and mind. Keep going. It says that as he traveled. And then he was keeping that form within his mind, and then he started to feel this happiness, which appeared in the ecstasy of his heart. And then that same Lord appeared to him outside. Keep going. Go back up onto verse 16. As soon as I began to meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord, and within my mind, it transferred into transcendental loves. Tears rolled down my eyes, and without delay, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, appeared in the lotus. So this is one thing that is very important about this whole thing. He got blessed by these sages who were very powerful personalities. So in order for us to advance in Krishna consciousness, we have to search out and seek out and be eager for the mercy of the great souls. We have to be eager for that. Not like if we are not eager for it, it won't really manifest. Narada was eager. He was all alone, but yet he had some desire to know the Lord. And that it says here, when the Lord appeared in his mind, all his material desires were erased. And then at one point, the Lord disappeared from him. And then the Lord spoke to him. He said, "You will not see me anymore in this life because you're not perfect." And then he continued on. And then, of course, he left his body and became perfect. And in the next life, he became the Sri Narada Muni. So the point is his association with the great sages like that. So one becomes a great soul by associating and serving great souls. That's the key to Krishna consciousness like that. There's devotees who want to make advancement without taking the opportunity to associate with other great souls. As Prabhupada says, theoretical knowledge and simply study will never give you advancement in spiritual life. You need to associate with and serve Vaishnavas. Then you can make advancement in Krishna consciousness. That's the key, like that, because Krishna manifests his mercy through the great souls. And one who pleases the great souls actually move away from material attachments. Which keeps the living entity locked into listen to their talks, and I was eager to do service for them. He said, but only once did I get the remnants of their prashadam, and that was enough to purify him completely. So it was a process like that, associating with, and because it says in the Nectar of Devotion that there are three very powerful substances: the dust of the lotus feet of the great souls, the water that washes their feet, and the remnants of their prashadam. The remnants of that prashadam is called Maha. Not just Maha, but Maha. It's described like that. And when Prabhupada was here, devotees were aware of that, and they would make great efforts to get Prabhupada's Maha, sometimes stealing it, which wasn't, I mean, in one sense, that kind of thievery was good, but at the same time, made it difficult for others to get it. So, yeah. So the
Apologies, devotees. Maharaj is in Ujjain and internet is not so good there. We all will try and be patient and stay with on the call, and let's see. Maharaj will come back soon.
Satyabama, you can open it up for questions.
Yes, thank you, Maharaj. So thank you so much for your time and association, Maharaj. Devotees, if you have any questions, comments, realizations, please unmute yourself and ask. You can also type it in the chat and I'll read it for you. And it'll be nice to have your cameras on, so if we can take your darshan as well. Thank you. Hare Krishna. I'll wait for the questions. Okay. Yes, Shilpesh Prabhu, please go ahead.
We got two questions.
Yes.
Your turn. Shilpesh, yes.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to your lotus feet. All glories to the assembled devotees. Guru Maharaj, when we're just looking at the last texts of Narada Muni's life, it said that when Krishna appeared to him, he appeared upon his lotus heart. So this darshan he has of Krishna, is it something he saw through his eyes or something he experienced within him, within his heart?
That the same meditation became perfect, and he saw Krishna within his heart. But then, if you go on, it says that same form manifested externally, and Krishna was there in his vision, external vision. But the Lord spoke to him immediately after he appeared. He says, "You'll only see me once in this life because you are incomplete." And then he disappeared. So it was really very quick. The Lord never spoke more than those few words to him. But seeing the Lord in his heart, he experienced ecstasy of happiness. If you can see the Lord in your heart, or even externally, if he appears, ecstasy will manifest instantaneously, because the Lord awakens one's transcendental love for him simply in different ways, but if he appears, that experience becomes instantaneous.
And this seeing of the Lord within the heart, is that what the yogis are trying to do through their...
Yeah.
Okay.
That's called Paramatma realization. Krishna is there in the heart of all living entities, but how much can we experience his presence? We can experience his presence in the theoretical sense by understanding the knowledge he's imparting to us within the heart. That knowledge starts first foremost through the spiritual master. So first we hear from the spiritual master, and when we become well versed in hearing from the spiritual master, we can also start to hear from Krishna internally. Because Krishna is always guiding the devotee externally through the spiritual master, and internally within the heart. But you can't understand Krishna within the heart, or you can't really tune into his words within the heart unless you hear externally first. You become adept of that. That's why it says the spiritual master is the external manifestation of the super soul. That's the easiest and most direct way. But the spirit, you can also hear Krishna within the heart, because you're not always hearing from the spiritual master. But a devotee who is fixed in devotional service stays connected with the Lord constantly, either externally through the external medias, such as books and the spiritual master, or internally by Krishna within the heart. He's never outside of that. And when love starts to develop, then Krishna manifests himself externally more and more in his transcendental form. Then when you see the deity, you don't just see the deity, you actually see Krishna. You stand in front of the deity, and the ecstasy of experiencing Krishna personally manifests. We can just see the deity, and then next thing we do is walk on and then talk some nonsense with somebody. But when we see the deity, you won't do that. You'll experience transcendental happiness.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, so it's a process. And the process is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam.
Maharaj, thanks and wish Prabhu. Divya, Mataji, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I also pay my obeisances to all the devotees. Guru Maharaj, thank you so much for the enlightening class. It was very wonderful. As you mentioned that we are all trying to understand the Lord by different methods and means, reading the books and reading the Shastras and sometimes doing the spiritual activities. So I just wanted to understand, do you think that the chanting of the holy name, that this process that we are doing every day is also helping us to understand the Lord? And will it be right to tell to the new devotees during the preaching process that just hold on to the chanting process and you will be able to understand the Lord, in some ways?
That's the quickest way. Chaito Darpana Marjanam. That first statement within the first verse of the Shikshastakam prayers. Chaito means mind. Chaita means mind. Darpanam means mirror. And Marjanam means to cleanse. So our understanding of the Lord is covered within the mind and body have covered that realization. So through chanting, you're cleansing that mirror of the mind. You're awakening that natural attraction for the Lord. It's there. To become attracted to the Lord is not something you have to develop. It's already there. It's something you have to uncover. The holy name is the elixir or the powerful way to break through all of those coverings. And then as you break through, you're cleansing the mind, you're awakening that knowledge that's within you, that realization within you. So yeah, that's the transcendental knowledge read in the scriptures is one way, but faster is the holy name, more direct.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
And if you chant purely, without offense, then immediately you can experience the presence of Krishna in the sound of his name.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thanks, Divya. That's a very beautiful question. Very helpful. Anyone else? Yes. Bhagwan Acharya Prabhu, please go ahead.
That would be me.
Yeah, you're on.
Bhagwan Acharya Prabhu. Chaitanya, sorry. Acharya, I made it Chaitanya.
Right. No problem, Mataji. That also sounds wonderful. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, and all glories to Vaishnavas everywhere.
Thank you.
Guru Maharaj, I had a fundamental question as I am going through this process. Sadhana makes a lot of sense to me. It is primarily expressed through a minimum of 16 rounds of chanting, and we do that. And when you're chanting, it is sadhana. It is clear to me that I'm invoking the Lord, and it's going, some days it's going well, it's not going well, that's fine. Prayer, I really want to know what prayer is, because prayer to me degenerates. I shouldn't use the word degenerates, but degenerates into asking for stuff. So that is if you ask me suddenly, what is the difference between sadhana and prayer? It's like sadhana is glorifying the Lord, the prayer is asking stuff from the Lord. So could you please explain what prayer is, Maharaj?
Well, the chanting of the holy name is also a prayer. Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives the explanation. When you're chanting, you're saying, "My dear Lord, please engage me in your service." So you're asking for service. Yeah, that's a general prayer. But you can make specific prayers also. To purify yourself from material attachments, to develop the qualities of a devotee, to associate with and appreciate that association of other Vaishnavas. We can pray for anything related to our spiritual development. And Prahlad Maharaj actually it's Srila Prabhupada's purport in one prayer by Prahlad Maharaj. And he actually is quoting Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He says, wherever there is a prayer, there's a request. We're asking for something. Or when you ask for things, that are related to your spiritual advancement, then that type of prayer is considered to be what we say in line with the process of bhakti. Mhm. But if you're praying, my dear Lord, my wife burned the dal today, and then, teach her how to make dal. I don't know if you get
Yeah,
anywhere with that kind of prayer. That's not really a prayer.
that's not really good. Yes. So yeah, that's very helpful that it is asked, but be careful what you ask for. And one other thing I've noticed, Maharaj, is that the quality of the prayer depends on the intensity of the desire. For example, we have a group where somebody say, "Hey, so my uncle's great granddaughter is having some trouble. Please pray for her." I will go and pray for her, but there's just no connection at all. But whereas when you asked Dheeraj Prabhu, pray for him to go to Ujjain, that was a pretty intense prayer. So the quality seems different based on the desire you have for the outcome.
Right, exactly.
Mhm.
Good analysis. Yeah, thank you. Okay, Satyabama,
Thank you, Maharaj. Yeah.
we have a group of devotees here that are on site, and we have the number one question asker here.
Okay.
Yeah.
See
You
Deva.
don't even have to mention her name. Everybody knows.
Should we try and switch on the camera, maybe, Maharaj? It would be nice to take a darshan again.
Yes.
We can try and
Okay.
see how the bandwidth is.
You're not going to be able to see everybody.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah,
Okay, so
you can take the
Sridhar, you
question.
want to ask a question? Mhm.
So I was just thinking about Narada and how he took the devotional service so readily. And then in this particular verse, he says that I was basically a good boy. I was self-controlled. I had no attachment for sports, even though I was a boy. I was not naughty, and I did not speak more than required. So is it that he was already born with so many exalted qualities that just coming in touch with great souls really accelerated his devotional life and he became a great devotee very quickly?
Yeah, but there was something in his past life also. It's also mentioned. I get Prahlad Maharaj and somehow I always mix up Prahlad Maharaj's previous life with Narada Muni's previous life. Um, I think it's Narada Muni who was in the heavenly planets, and he was surrounded by all of these ladies, and he started singing cinema songs. And then that was an offense. So I think that's one of the reasons why he had to fall to earth. I think that was Narada, not Prahlad. Prahlad was a little different, I think. So yeah, so there is something there in his previous life. He was pious, some piety. So accumulation of pious activities allows you some approach to bhakti, or gives you the chance to engage in bhakti. Did you hear the question here?
Yes, kind of we guessed it, I guess, that what was the previous life, or maybe what he
Well, yeah.
did. Yeah,
What about him allowed him to have that
yeah,
facility in his
facility.
present life?
Thank you, Maharaj. Uh, Ashutosh Sharma Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Um, Please accept my humble obeisances and Hare Krishna to all devotees. Maharaj, I have a question. So all these days, like since like more than last 1 year, we have like started this Krishna consciousness, and we are also doing the 16 rounds. But one weird thing is happening, Maharaj, with me. Whenever I'm seeing some disturbing news or videos, for example, few days back it was all over the news about the Pahalgam attack, as well as these days, like, there are some heinous crime happening, hate crimes happening. So whenever I'm seeing these news, I'm actually not able to focus, properly on my chanting. And during the chanting as well as during my sleep, I'm actually getting very restless, uh, about all those incidents. So
There's an easy formula for that. Just stop watching the news. That's all.
even I'm stop like even if I did try that, Maharaj. I try to uninstall the apps and all. In some or the other conversation, something is coming up. So what is happening, Maharaj? Like I'm able to finish my 16 rounds, but in the initial 8 rounds, I feel very very heavy. That it feels very heavy to finish first 8 rounds, and then after the ninth round is complete, then I feel more energetic towards completion of 16. So I'm not sure, like, if what should I do with those kind of things. It's
This
not
is
easily going. Yeah.
this is an experience of every devotees. Sometimes they find within their 16 rounds, certain times within their rounds, either at the beginning, middle, or end, it becomes easier like that. So don't really become discouraged. If you're chanting, continue to chant and don't look for results. If it's difficult, fine, continue to chant. If it's easy, fine, continue to chant. As long as you continue to chant, you'll develop the quality of your chanting. If you give up or get discouraged because of something becomes difficult or even there's no taste at all, then you'll never make any tangible advancement. This is the process of purification. So purification means to cut through all of the layers of material attachments, material contaminations. So all of these are happening as you chant, even though you're not maybe aware of exactly how it's happening. So we find that until we become free from at least 75% of our material attachments, we go in and out of experiencing the pleasure, happiness, easiness of chanting. So it's a process. You can't expect to get the results. I mean, you said 1 year. 1 year is just like 10 seconds in devotional service. It's nothing.
So Maharaj, is it an offense that mind is wandering here and there, and it's not keeping constant and, like,
But
very distracted while chanting?
what does Krishna say about the wandering mind?
I mean, it's not easy to control, Maharaj.
Yeah, but then what does he say? How do you control that wandering mind?
Do more chanting.
He says continue in devotional service, but give up your attachments to material life. Otherwise, you'll continue to wander as long as you're still attached to the material life. Even if you're attached to something material, doesn't mean you have to fulfill that attachment. You have to say no. This is Maya. This is going to take me away from devotional service. It's a waste of time. It's something I've been doing for hundreds of lives. And now, where's it gotten me? So just say no to Maya. That's all. Especially when it comes to topics, material topics, they disturb the mind automatically.
Sure, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj.
Just practice, that's all. Don't give up. And if you want to accelerate your practice, find more and more opportunities to associate with devotees.
Sure, Maharaj. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prashadash Prabhu. Any other questions, devotees? While you're waiting for more questions, Maharaj, I have a
Well,
question in my mind.
we
Are
got
there?
we got some questions here on the local
Okay,
level. Two
that's nice.
questions. One from Dr. Chopper. You have a question? She's asking about Narada Muni's quality, specifically the one about meekness, asking what is meekness. There's a statement in the Christian tradition that says the meek shall inherit the earth. The proud, they try to steal things from Krishna by trying to become more and more materially lucrative, let me say, more materially adept. But the meek will simply accept whatever comes their way by arrangement of the Lord and be grateful for that. So gratefulness is part of meekness also. The Lord gives you some association, although you didn't even make any effort to achieve that association. Then the devotee becomes happy, blessed, and thankful. Thankful means grateful for, oh, I had the chance to associate with so many nice devotees, and I'm grateful for that because that inspires me in my Krishna consciousness, and it also gives me happiness. So meek, you can go to the definition. Do you have a dictionary there? How long will it take you to get there? Go to the dictionary and go to the word meekness, and you can just type it into meekness. The meaning of meekness means what? Submissiveness. That's one of the qualities. What is the real meaning of meekness? There's a statement there. What does it say? The quality of being patient, long-suffering, or submissive in disposition or nature. A lack of spirit or spine, the tendency to be compliant and unassertive. That's the second one. So long-suffering, patient, submissive. In other words, long-suffering means I'm waiting for Krishna's mercy. I'm not changing. I'm still going on my devotional service, even though Krishna is not giving me his mercy. Still, I continue to stay fixed in devotional service. Okay? That's the definition. We have also another question here from Manisha. Yeah. Turn on the light. The top left one. There you go. Yeah. To when Prabhupada asked, when they asked Prabhupada, it takes pious activities, good qualities to come to devotional service. We don't have it. And Prabhupada said, yes, I created your good qualities. So I think that's what he's referring to. But to say that there's no good qualities there means not to generalize a category like that. Gracious. You might say in some hippies there's no good qualities. And then again, what's a hippie? How do you define a hippie? We do it by some external uh, observation. But then again, it's a term that's thrown upon a certain gathering type of people that were rebellious towards authority. And the rebellion by expressing themselves in their own individualistic way. In other words, not following general rules and regulations, especially when it comes to sense gratification. So a general term is not really applicable to a category because of different individuals there. There's some truth in what he says, but if you discuss it in general, you'll find that many of the hippies, they became such great devotees that they spread Krishna consciousness around the world. Possibly. Well, as Prabhupada did say, I created them, which means that Prabhupada really gave a lot of credit to people who didn't have any good qualities because Prabhupada needed people to spread this movement. So he made up the difference by saying to Krishna, they all have all bad habits, but somehow or other they come to Krishna consciousness, so give them their mercy. So that's the mercy of a great soul still. So they'll pray to Krishna for extra mercy just to somehow or other move somebody along in devotional service. Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Maharaj. Just one request that when you're moving away from the mic, we can't hear you clearly.
I'm not moving away from the mic. The
Just
mic.
when you're turning your face, maybe a little bit.
My mic is right attached to me. The mic is not moving.
No, that's fine. Is it okay
Satyabhama,
to take?
you're still Satyabhama. I can't believe it.
I'm also the host. Sorry.
Oh, who's it?
Is it okay to take Vrisha Prabhu's question?
First, I'll give you a rundown of all of our local Vaishnavis here.
Okay, sure.
We have Sri Devi. We have Shakshi, Manisha. We have Binak. We have Akarshini Radha. We have Radha Bhakti Priya. She was known as Sneha.
Hari Bol. Jai.
We have Eka Chakra,
Jai.
who's the leader. In the sense that she organized this.
Yes, Maharaj's fan club. That's true.
Okay, go back to philosophy now. Okay, Rishabh.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, glories to all the Vaishnavas. I have one comment I would like you to comment on, and one question. When you were mentioning really interestingly in the beginning about the 26 qualities, which there is kind of two ways of doing it, through cultivating them, and automatically they will come by themselves when we are developing Krishna consciousness. Which kind of reminded me of the same principle that you hear me? Yeah.
I categorize. I made a distinction between that also.
Mm-hmm.
Did you catch the distinction? Usually, for one who's fixed in devotional service, the qualities start to manifest. One who is just beginning, then they need to cultivate those qualities until they get fixed in devotional service.
It sounds really, it seems to me it's connected, Maharaj, to this concept of developing jnana and vairagya and detaching from sense gratification. Because it seems that all these qualities, when they are developed when we are not anymore attached to sense gratification and we are attached to serving Krishna and Guru and Vaishnavas. And it's kind of remind me of this principle. Yeah.
That's true.
It reminds me of the principle that we also have to cultivate jnana and vairagya in the beginning, and then when we are establishing our devotional service, it kind of fully manifest in the end. And I just saw the connection, which really reminded me of importance of no sense gratification and Vaishnava senses and Krishna senses gratification
When you talk
instead.
about sense gratification, you're talking about material. The devotees' senses get satisfied or gratified, but in devotional service, in relationship to devotional service. That is natural. Material means cut off or selfish. Okay. Yes, Shiv Kumara.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj, stand out from Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, Maharaj, while we are on this topic of cultivation of devotion qualities, I just had this question, Maharaj, and also some clarification in terms of how I approach it, whether it is correct or we have any comments or guidance on that. The cultivation of devotional qualities and anartha nivritti, Maharaj, are those two synonymous or different, Maharaj?
Yeah, they work. Not completely synonymous, but as the good qualities manifest, one moves away from the lower modes of material energy where the anarthas really are manifested. These anarthas are usually in either passion or ignorance. When you develop good qualities, you're moving towards the mode of goodness. But unless you cultivate bhakti in relationship to the good qualities, or the other way around, unless you cultivate the good qualities in relationship to bhakti, you could also fall down back to the lower modes again. So yeah, they do help erase, or what we say, annihilate those anarthas, yeah.
So Maharaj, just correct me, Maharaj, my approach or understanding. It seems according to my nature, Maharaj, my kind of swabhava, it seems like if I clear the blocks of anarthas, in terms of anger or pride, things like that, it seems to work favorably approaching bhakti or progressing bhakti, rather than explicitly focusing on devotion qualities. I seem to be more focusing on removing the blocks, which seems to be helping me more, Maharaj. Is that right approach? Or?
Yeah, well, in one sense, but as you remove the blocks, they won't stay removed unless you engage in devotional service.
Okay.
You have to do both simultaneously.
Okay.
And you have to remove the blocks in execution of your devotional service. Okay. Like some of the qualities or disqualifications are, anarthas are, as you mentioned, pride. Envy is there, deceitfulness, fault-finding, desire for prestige. These are all anarthas. But they're anarthas that are due to impious activities. So cultivating the good qualities and staying engaged in devotional service. Without staying engaged in devotional service, there's no good qualities. We discussed that yesterday or the day before, that one verse. that only when those who are engaged in devotional service, they have good qualities. Even people who cultivate good qualities in the material world, these good qualities are subject to the changing modes of material nature. Therefore, as it says, how can a person have any good qualities? Because they're under influence of the ephemeral changing material energy.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Hmm.
So your problem is you need some service.
Hmm.
Right? That's we come back to that. You're very intellectual, but you have to use your intellectualism and engage in some practical devotional service. So
Okay.
take time, go to the temple,
Hmm.
or find some yatras where you can get connected to and start doing some service.
Hmm. Okay.
We have to do practical devotional service.
Hmm.
Otherwise, that same energy will be used for something material.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
You can't just try to say, well, I'm going to get rid of good, bad qualities. They they won't remain, permanently away unless you engage in devotional service.
Okay. Okay.
Come back again in
Hmm.
circumstances. Yeah.
Hmm. 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 Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. This is
Okay.
great.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Shri Prabhupada.
Jana, Vraja Jana Priya Radha.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, Hare Krishna, devotees. Thank you very much. I offer my humble obeisances to all of you. Guru Maharaj, I wanted to thank you very deep for daily classes, especially this one. When you were talking about Prabhupada and his mercy upon us, because you mentioned the hippies, I could understand that. And I I feel like them. It's totally his mercy that I am here, I think. And I want to thank to Sri Devi Mata. She shared with us the link to see yesterday the drama there in Ujjain. It was incredible and so heart touching for me. So thank you very much for that and everyday classes. Thank you.
Good. And it's the very good. Yes, very good. Yeah, it was, as you say, to describe it, heart touching.
Mm.
Okay, so
Yeah, Shri Devi Mata.
we got a question from Shakshi here.
Yeah.
So, Guru Maharaj, you shared that the qualities of United States. So, one of the qualities was meekness and submission to the authority. My question is, if a person was extremely rebellious, how can that? How can a person, a rebellious person, some
Well, if a person who is rebellious, how can they change? They have to change. If they're rebellious, then you might find ways to attract them where their rebellion turns into attraction or interest like that. But rebellion means moving away. To rebel means to rebel against the wrong thing and not just rebel for the sake of rebellion. Without following authority, you can get it. Like people don't want to take up spiritual life because they think they have to submit to an authority. But they're already submitting to an authority. when they engage in material activities. They're following certain rules and regulations in the material world. And the state imposes authorities, the family imposes authorities. There's authorities everywhere in the material world. So, but what is the quality of those authorities? They lead you to hell. We take up good authorities who are, what we say, qualified to lead us in the right way, then that is a benefit. That's beneficial. So those who rebel against proper authorities or good authorities, what can you do for them? They're ignorant. I guess the word is ignorant.
Thank you, Sakshi Mataji. Any other questions from devotees here online?
Question from Sakshi.
Guru Maharaj, if you can maybe repeat the question because we're not getting the answer, so we're not able to relate the answer.
Okay, I'll repeat.
Thank you.
We were reading the life of Narada Muni. He was not, although he was a young boy, was not interested in sports. She's saying, what's wrong with that? Ask Narada Muni. Do some play. He was more interested in his spiritual development or following the duty that he was given as a boy than spending time just playing. Wasn't interesting in playing. That's all. Maybe that's rare amongst young people, but that has that quality or that characteristic might have been there from previous lives. Okay, we got one of these concessional questions. In order to be happy, we got to do something that will make you happy in the material way, so you can be happy in the spiritual way. That's your question. All right. Unless you have, some potato chips during your meal, you can't really enjoy the meal as prasad. Okay. So you might say for some people it's necessary. Krishna will also do that. He might give you something material just to fulfill that desire, so you can stay connected in devotional service. But ultimately, if you don't get rid of that desire, it'll move you away from devotional service. So it says the actual principle says, when a devotee asks Krishna for something material, Krishna sees, oh, all right, I'll give him something material. But if that devotee takes that benediction and moves away from Krishna, then Krishna will not do that again. He'll do it once. That's all. But sometimes he gives something, just like somebody needs to get married, and unless they get married, they can't stabilize their practice in devotional service. So Krishna will say, oh, all right, if this helps the devotee become more fixed in their devotional service, he may make some arrangements for that devotee to find a partner. he always acts for the benefit of the devotee. You have to understand it as a principle, and not just to give something because somebody wants something. So when you're asking anything from Krishna, you have to see, will it help me in my devotional service or not? So for example,
I will have to now maybe leave.
we got another question from Alicia. Indoors, jumping along, moving along here. Okay. Becoming very active today. Thank you.
See, I can't hear you because you're moving away from the mic.
I said thank you bonus from indoor. You heard
Yes,
that, right?
yes, now.
She hasn't made it. She hasn't made it to Ojane yet. Maybe next life.
I don't want to wait till next live. I don't want to be here for the next live.
Yeah. So we have a question from Manisha.
Okay.
How to pure our consciousness, like when
Mhm. It purifies your consciousness. He's asking how to purify your consciousness. Read Shastra, that helps. Chanting is more direct and more effective. Shastra is also there, works. Taking prasadam also purifies the consciousness. The activities of devotional service are all geared to awaken your bhakti. You're performing bhakti to awaken bhakti. Yeah. And chanting is the most direct way and most effective way. Another question.
Maharaj, I might have to leave now because
These are all your shikshas here. They're all from indoor. You can't leave
okay.
until we switch locations.
Okay.
We get out of indoor, we go to somewhere else. Thanks for taking the remnants of the pure devotees. Yes, yes, by you, and that's something. That's you can't be completely detached from everything. You have to be attached to those things that are connected with your spiritual advancement. Be attached to chanting. Be attached to associating and serving devotees. Be attached to taking only prasadam. Be attached to hearing. Detachment means from material. Attachment is is the is a result of detachment from material attached to spiritual. No one can be completely detached from everything. That means you're not dead. Okay. You got another question? You can leave now. This one's not from indoor.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. I can stay online. Satyabhama Mataji make me host.
Okay, good, good. All right, Satyabhama, you did good today. He's not saying anything.
Only by your mercy, Maharaj. I'm so sorry I have to leave. Thank you
Yeah,
so much. Thank you ever so much for all the classes, all the just amazing. It's the life and soul, basically.
and
It
you're
makes
giving
a
everyone life. And I was just with one senior devotee here. He's a sannyasi. He said, I just came back from South London. I was just with Satyabhama and Vrindavanath.
yes, he came here for our housewarming program, actually, Bhakti Prabha Maharaj.
Yeah, the first thing he said to me when he saw me, he was so excited to tell me about his experience. Yeah, good, nice. Make the sadhus happy.
Ah, thank you. And you were virtually here as well. So yeah. Thank you, Maharaj. Jai. Hare Krishna, Mr.
Okay,
Shilpa.
okay, thank you. And so we have another question.
Yes, Guru
I want your remnants.
The remnants. Okay, let me see. What do we have here? See if there's any remnants here. That's remnants. You don't want that. Okay, we have a sentimental question here.
Actually, I have another question, Maharaj. Mahaprabhu said, Jare Dekho Tare Ko Krishna Upadesha. But there is that actually 10 in the ninth offense to not to instruct a less person holy about the glories of holiness. Then how to correlate with themselves? How to preach anyone so that we will not get any offense actually.
The question is, the ninth offense to the holy name is not to preach the glories of the holy name to the faithless, but then Lord Chaitanya is encouraging everyone to go everywhere, devotees to go everywhere and preach to the conditioned souls. So sometimes we make that mistake, but for the sake of preaching, we take that risk. But we try to avoid it when people are adverse to our offering them Krishna consciousness. Or we don't speak beyond a certain level. In other words, we speak about the importance of chanting, the glories, not the glories of chanting, but the importance of chanting. Karshini Radha has a question. She's saying that she likes to take the remnants, but she also likes to share it. She wants to know whether that's right or wrong, and I say the answer is they're both right. To be eager for the remnants and also to be eager to share the remnants. As Prabhupada said, there's those who like to eat prasad and those who like to serve prasad. And he said there's no difference because prasad is Krishna. One is giving prasad Krishna and the other one is accepting Krishna. The medium is Krishna, so therefore they're both considered to be transcendental. Yeah, because Krishna is the leader and prasad is the difference. So sometimes prasadam, it's better than me eating prasadam, but actually it's an absolute principle because you're accepting Krishna in the form of prasadam and you're giving Krishna in the form of prasadam. So there's no difference. But those who like to take prasadam also like to share prasadam. And those who like to share prasadam like to take prasadam. What's the beginning and what's the end? Okay, we have Sri Devi's in deep contemplation here. Something's going to happen soon.
Way. And this particular life, it is described that he was a son of a maid servant, but it is also described that he is one of the mind-born sons of Brahma. So how does all that mix,
He became Narada Muni after that life. But she's asking how is the born son of a maidservant also the son born from the body of Brahma? It says in the scriptures, the next life he became Narada Muni. He wasn't that life when he was that young boy serving the sages. Yeah. So it says, yeah. That's why Krishna appeared to him in that life, but he said, you're not ready to see me anymore beyond this one time. So that inspired him to perfect himself. And he reached perfection at the time of death, and then he appeared as Narada Muni in the next life. Okay, so we stop here? I think so, because I have another
There's too much,
that's
yeah.
coming. Okay.
Yeah. The devotees, any more questions or comments? Yes, Guru
Okay,
Maharaj.
thank you.
We can end the call here as there are no more questions. Thank you, Guru Maharaj, for such a wonderful class and nice discussion.
Yeah, we have a lot
Hope to
of
see you all tomorrow.
good. Come tonight for the class at 7 o'clock. No, is it
Yes, Guru
7?
Maharaj. Yeah, I'll be there.
7 o'clock, yeah. Guru Prasad Maharaj is here. So he's well versed in Shastra, so you can get some really deep philosophical nourishment.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Ki
jai.
jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much, everyone. So, yeah, hope to see you all, everyone, tomorrow again. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Anjali, Haribo.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Haribo.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Bhagavan.
Thank you, Mataji, so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
I'm trying to figure out how to stop the live stream on phone.
Just switch it.
The
Yeah.
live streaming is stopped.
Sure.
The live streaming is stopped, Mataji.
Stop?
Or you can. No, it's not yet
Yeah, when
stopped.
Satyabama Mataji left, it's
Oh, okay.
yeah.